I turned this $1,000 into almost $4,000 a month completely passive income. Over the next 7 years, that $1,000 investment will turn into almost $500,000. If you find this information useful, go ahead and like and subscribe to see more videos like this. The strategy is actually very simple. I can explain it to you in just a few minutes. Here's the strategy in a nutshell. You buy distressed properties from owners that do not want them anymore for cash, as cheap as you can get them. Then you take these properties and finance them to somebody that wants them and wants to fix them up. Where I live, there's a lot of people that own properties that are vacant and they're not really taking care of them. You can reach out to those people and get them for probably a really fair price, depending on the condition. I kind of stumbled upon this strategy by accident, but now I'm going to try to get into it a little bit more because of how successful these last cases have been. The first deal I did like this, I actually bought from somebody owner finance, but I ended up paying it off pretty quickly and ended up owner financing it. And the first thing I did was get a down payment of $12,000. So immediately I was in the positive. So I actually amortized this loan for 15 years. So my payment that I'm getting is only really about $100 a month. But the reason that deal works out so well is because I got so much money up front. Really, I didn't even need the $100 a month. It's just a way to make passive income. The next deal was actually another owner finance deal. I bought this property from someone I used to work with for $8,000 and he financed it to me. And I was only paying $174 a month. I paid it off over a year ago at this point and have since financed it for $46,000, getting a $6,000 down payment, and I think we're getting $500-600 a month from that. I could go through and explain every one of these deals and exactly how it worked out, but the principle is this. Buy a house as cheap as you can from someone who doesn't want it anymore. Maybe it's condemned or damaged or trash. Maybe it was a tenant that were rented out and it's just they don't need the house anymore. Maybe the owner is older. You reach out to these people by driving for dollars, getting their phone number, and calling them. Or you can send them a letter. After I did a couple of these deals, I realized this might be a viable strategy. It's not our main gig because we mostly do full rehabs on our rental properties, but it's a good way to take a property that doesn't really fit your criteria that might fit someone else's. I have now done a total of 8 of these deals and it results in $3,700 a month. And the amortizations are a little bit different, but I think the average is around 7 years. We don't want them to be too long because we're not getting enough every month, and we don't want them to be too short because we like that passive income. Now with $3,700 a month, we could let that build up in an account and then every month or so buy another house with it and then add that to the account. You can also see how this could just be a sidearm of your business and it could just cook in the background. I think the biggest trick with this strategy is finding your end buyer, because you have to find someone that's willing to buy a distressed property and have the ability to fix it up. The good thing with that is people that are aspiring to be investors usually don't have a ton of money at the start. So they would love to come to you and borrow money from you by financing these properties from you. Another perk is if they ever default on the loan, you can foreclose and get a property back that's likely in better condition than when you sold it. Another benefit to the strategy is they had to pay the insurance, they're paying for repairs, they're paying the property taxes. All you're doing is getting a monthly check in the mail. There's definitely a few downsides with this strategy. The end buyer could be hard to find because you have to find somebody that knows how to fix up a property or knows people that does, that you believe would make the payments. Another thing is you have to buy properties for cheap enough to have a big enough spread to justify financing it. I think the most that I've paid for a house like this is $12,000, and we ended up only getting a $6,000 down payment out of that. So it's not a perfect strategy by any means. You're always gonna have the risk of trapping some money in there. But, like I said, there was another one where I paid $5,000 for a house and got a $12,000 down payment. So they basically would wash themselves out as you do more. We try to buy properties for the same amount of cash that we think we could get for a down payment, so that way we end up with nothing in the deal at the end. Now, I understand this may be a market-specific strategy. You might be in a market that's just booming with investors and everybody's trying to get their hands on a house, and this might not work because the spread between what someone's willing to pay for a house if you finance it and what someone's willing to sell a house for may be a lot closer or overlapping. I'm mostly just explaining to you a strategy that I've used to take houses that I normally wouldn't buy, or if I did buy, it would take too much to fix up the houses to our specifications. We don't look at a property and see if this deal works or not, clean cut yes or no. We look at it and say, how can we make this deal work? And what is the number that we have to pay for it to make it work? One way that we've used to get a hold of owners is driving for dollars, which is literally driving around, finding a house that needs work, and trying to get a hold of that owner and see if they're willing to sell. The strategy that has worked best for us so far in our area is reach out to people that we know and tell them exactly what we're looking for. Distressed properties. I really believe I could reach out to every distressed property owner in this area and offer them $5,000. If 1% of them does it, I can make this work, even if the property ends up not being worth $5,000. If you don't work out and end up losing me money, there's plenty of them to make up for it. So that's how I plan to turn this $1,000 into almost $500,000 over the next 7 years with only 20 hours of my effort put into it. Let me know in the comments if you think this strategy would work in your area, and if not, why is that? Alright, thanks guys for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, there's going to be more coming. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.